This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everybody, to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have another good neighbor on with us, and that is Katrina Komar of Halcyon Property Specialists. How are you, dear?
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Did I get that right off the top?
Yeah. It's okay. It is a little bit of a mouthful, and it's not very common of a word. So
Yeah, that's kind of, everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses. I'd say that's probably one of my weaknesses is the pronunciation of names. So I'm pretty proud of myself on this lovely Tuesday morning. How was your Canada Day long weekend?
Oh, it was great. I'm really glad that yesterday turned out to be a little bit better in the weather department, but we had a great weekend all around. So
did you stick around? Did you take off somewhere?
We one of our friends' birthdays on Canada Day, actually, so we went up to a cottage on Saturday, and we just kind of hung out by the lake and had a good time there, and then had some family up on Sunday, and then yesterday was just our chill day. So yeah, how about you?
Yeah, we had my significant other has a 17-year-old daughter, so she graduated from grade 12, so we did the ceremony on Thursday. Her parents came down from Sudbury, and my parents live just in Midhurst, so we all got together the Thursday night, and then Friday night we had a little celebration party. My parents have a larger backyard than I do, so we did a little something there, hung around by the fire, that kind of thing. Had a nice barbecue, and then they came over on the Saturday, and we had pizza and kind of hung out just with our parents. I celebrated Chanel for kind of an extra day, and then yesterday was just super chill.
Awesome.
After 3 days of hosting, you're tired.
You need a vacation from the weekend.
Oh yeah, 100%. So we've never had an opportunity to meet before, and I'm pretty curious. I know our listeners are as well. So why don't we dive in it? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, for sure. So my sister and I own a company called Halcyon Property Specialists. We are property restoration and general contracting business. So we deal a lot with people who have had insurance claims. So if you have a fire or a flood, the tornado that went through Barrie a couple years ago, we go in and we help restore people and kind of put them back together. So we're women owned and operated. And yeah, it's been a lot of years that we've been helping people. So.
And you help across multiple sectors, right? You help, you do residential. You're also in the commercial sector as well?
Yeah, so we do residential and commercial, just property. We don't do auto or anything like that. But yeah, we're definitely able to help businesses or homeowners when things come up like that. So yeah.
And so what would be some of the things that would be issues where people would experience that would kind of merit a phone call for you guys?
So sometimes when you have a little bit of a water loss, depending on the severity of it, people would call in if your toilet line kind of goes. Fires are also a pretty big one. Fires actually probably have the most devastating impact, I would say. There's a lot more that the soot can kind of get into, even if you think you have a small fire. Water's a little bit more quick and easy to manage. The fires are usually a little bit of a longer process, all in all. So.
Right. Okay. And do you guys do mold and asbestos as well?
Yeah. So we're certified to handle all of those fun things, so to speak. But it's definitely good to have the right people who are certified to handle that sort of stuff. So mold, ironically, a lot of people get freaked out by it, but there's actually mold in the air. So when you're actually getting a test for a pre and post, it just has to be lower than the outside air mold quality, which is kind of funny and weird, but yeah.
Yeah, when my sister was living with me, I've got a full walkout basement, a full kitchen down there, the whole bit, so fully self-sustainable. And I ended up going to dig in the gardens one time, and I guess there was mold in the dirt.
Oh.
So I was just absolutely destroyed. And then so I kind of realized, okay, there's definitely something that now I recognize within my own body that I need to kind of keep out for in the future. And then it was just shortly after COVID, I ended up losing my lung capacity by half.
wow.
It happened once after a workout. One was just random. I woke up that way. And obviously did the COVID test. I didn't have COVID. And my sister kind of was going through, she got like super sick. She had the flu a few times, all respiratory issues. And then of course, COVID's going on. So you don't know, what's happening. So I ended up getting a mold test done downstairs. We were 100% convinced that was the case, but it turned out to be negative. And we still don't know what the hell happened. Nothing's happened since then. No asbestos in the house.
Wow.
It's crazy,
Yeah, it's that's the thing about mold too. You said you disturbed like some dirt, and that it's molds. I'm not going to say safe, but it's when it becomes airborne that it is definitely more hazardous. So if you were breathing that in, for sure, your lungs probably had a reaction of some sort. So it's good that the whole basement isn't full of mold, because that wouldn't be good.
You said you're partners with your sister?
Yeah. So her and I started out working for our dad about 10 to 12 years ago now. And he retired in the last couple of years, and my sister and I decided to open our own company, kind of doing the same sort of thing. So it was really cool how we were able to kind of help him grow his business and his legacy, so to speak. And then what I thought was just going to be summertime, part-time kind of work, helping him out, kind of turned into, no, I feel good helping, my family. And, my sister and I do very different things in the business. I'm inside operations and she's outside visiting the customers and stuff. So we kind of really do have that really good balance. So yeah, it's worked out pretty good for us so far.
So our next question we always ask is kind of, tell us about the journey, right? So we got a little bit of a snippet, but maybe bring us a little bit more back in time on how you two ended up getting involved in the family business, and then what was it specifically that got you to say, we want to open up our own company and do something together.
Yeah, for sure. So it kind of worked out. I was finishing up university. I went to Brock for recreation and leisure studies.
I went to Brock too for business.
Maybe that's where I met you.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that was, I graduated in 2013, and my dad was just opening up his franchise up here and started working for him. My sister was still in school for the next 2 years, so she kind of would help. I'll never forget, we had a hailstorm when she was coming home for Easter one year, and we called her when she was on her way back, and we just come right to the office. We need you here. We got lots of people who need help. So yeah, and that's just kind of how it started. So she kind of was doing what my dad did, kind of being on the road, the project managing, the estimating, and then I kind of just started handling his operations. And I really just kind of started to fall into this niche of work that I didn't obviously expect, but I really began to love it. So in the years working for my dad, we were able to kind of start to develop this little niche. We had this little type of service that we figured we kind of fell into and started providing. So when my dad retired, instead of continuing on with the franchise, we decided to kind of do a rebrand with a name that kind of represents us and what we kind of do and how we're servicing the community anyways for the past little while. So Halcyon actually, by definition, means denoting a period of time that was idyllically happy and peaceful. So we want to bring people back to that time where they weren't stressed out of what just happened. And we kind of do a little bit more of a boutique-y, hand-holding kind of experience. We provide complimentary design appointments and really try to help educate the clients as they're going through something they've often never been through before. So yeah,
that's got to be a pretty kind of traumatic experience. Your dishwasher starts leaking, you got a big mess, or God forbid, fire in the house, and all the ramifications after that. You have to have the fire department in. They got to clean the air in the home, and then the structural damage component. You then kind of start ripping walls apart if depending on what happened. Do you guys provide that post service, or do you contract that out, or you have that in house?
Yeah, so we do a full service. So we'll do it's the claims are typically broken up into emergency and then repair. So we will do everything from the emergency stages where it gets you dried up, and then putting everything back. So we do have staff in-house that do both sides of that, but we do sometimes have our trades that we obviously lean on very frequently that we've been using for many, many years too. So you got to have the right person for the job, and that's kind of where we decide on who we're going to put on, and depending on the type of customer we're dealing with. So
very cool. Any myths, any misconceptions in your line of work?
Yeah, the biggest I would say would come to drywall, and when it's wet, it needs to be taken out. When drywall is actually made, it's actually manufactured in a wet environment. It is wet. It can be dried. The question that we always ask is, should it? So that's where the knowledge of having a professional in the restoration company, they would know, what type of water loss it was. Was it clean water? Is it category 1, 2, or 3? What type of class is it? So all those factors come into play when you're determining on if you actually have to remove or just you can dry in place. So obviously if it's clean water, so a supply line is typically clean water, that usually we can dry in place for most things. Obviously laminate, baseboards, those sometimes expand, and while we can dry it, it's not usually practical because you can't get it back to the way it was. But drywall is one of those things that doesn't always need to be removed out right to the ceiling or right to the floor. You can usually get away with drying most drywall.
Oh, very interesting. I never knew that. Look at that. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, if you ever walk into those homes and they have like the curved drywall, they usually wet the drywall in order to get it that nice curved look. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Is that the only one, or do you got another one for us?
That's probably the main one. The other one I would say would probably be, like I kind of mentioned, a lot of people know a contractor. And when they have losses, they're like, well, I'm a contractor. I've cleaned it up. I've shop vacked it and that sort of stuff. So a lot of people don't realize that restorers are I like to term it contractors on steroids. We know a little bit more in depth on how things should be responded to based on the type of loss and what's going on. We also have lots of different tools that we can use to make sure that different building materials are dried to the standard. So general contractors are a little bit different than restorers, and a lot of people think that everyone knows a general contractor, so they must all be the same.
So that would be like the niche that you talk about, because you deal with the same type of, whatever you want to call it, an issue that whether it's fire, whether it's water, whether it's a mold problem, the three major kind of arms or components, and there's repairs on those same type of things, versus general contractors do a lot of repair and building on a lot of other stuff that hasn't been damaged in that specific fashion necessarily, which would give you that niche you were mentioning.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm the type of person, I like to have fun. I call it a work-life harmony. It's never a balance. We seem as humans to we work a little bit more than we get to play. But having, like you said, on Monday to have your relaxation day and kind of fill up the teacup or recharge the batteries, as we like to say, it's super important. I know cottage sounded like a lot of fun, but when you're not working on or in your business, what does Katrina like to do for fun?
I play soccer with, ironically, my sister. My sister and I are very close, so we do a lot of things together still. So we play soccer. So we do indoor in the Barrie Dome, obviously fall and winter, and in the summer we play with our outdoor ladies in a ladies league in Innisfil. After playing ladies for so long, my husband and I decided to do a co-ed league this past fall for the first time, which being a woman, so you always hear like really good things or really bad things about men when you play with them. So we're very thankful that the team that we have is a good group of people, and so we've been playing since the fall, and now we're doing an outdoor league co-ed on Monday nights. So we play a lot of soccer, but yeah, I also do yoga. I love to read, so those sorts of things. I like to definitely be outside a lot.
So would you say you're a competitive person?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I played a lot of sports growing up. I did, every school sport, that was pretty much offered up. And of course, soccer came around, and I can't kick the ball if my life depended on it. Considering I would consider myself a natural athlete, I can play all sports. So the team I was good in volleyball. I was good at beach volleyball specifically. I'm not afraid to dive. So they kind of said, well, they knew me. They said, put him in net. So I went in net, and I tell you, it was a unique experience. Having a hardcore soccer ball flying at your face it can be daunting sometimes, especially when you get these guys that really know how to kick the ball. I bent my hands back a few times, almost broke a couple fingers, got smashed in the face a few times, doing a lot of running around. And the net is so damn big. Like, how do you even save the thing,
Yeah, it's definitely some of them are really big, and the indoor ones are a little bit smaller. But we actually our goalie is actually a lady for our co-ed too, and I don't know how she does it. So I would never, because like you were just saying, balls come really fast and really hard at your face. So
yeah, a couple of painful experiences where we were in like a tournament. I think we were in the semifinals, and we're just warming up, and we have one of our best players on our team. He just absolutely got a hold of this ball. Of course, and it was like, it was just right here. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was so hard. It bent my hands back, and I almost couldn't play for that game. I played in pain the whole time. It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Did you stop after that? No more soccer for you?
I played out, finished out grade 12. I think that was in grade 11, and then no more soccer after that. I'll stick to hockey and volleyball, and golf would be my three favorite sports I like to play.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah. Now pickleball's been this like crazy surgence in popularity amongst everybody. Did you get a chance to try that out yet?
No, I haven't. And ironically, since my dad retired, he's been playing a lot of pickleball. And I'm like, what is this? They're like, it's so fun. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll have to try it out. There's like pickleball courts or something. Like, I don't even know where to begin to even go to try to learn to play this. So Have you done it?
It's super popular. I haven't played yet. I need to watch a YouTube video on the rules. I don't even know the rules, but I did buy a set of paddles. I was in Costco, and I impulse bought a set because you're in Costco and that's what you do.
Totally. With everything.
And now it's sitting there in my garage for whenever, we're ready to take the mantle. But there's courts out in the east side of town. I think they've got like 12 courts out there, some 15.
Oh, wow.
They got a big league that goes out there. A lot of the leagues in the city are full, so you have to kind of get in early in the year. From what I've been told, it's that popular. So
wow, it's like the new sport of the century, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess it's a lot of like cardio, right? You run in, back and forth. So it's a really good workout. So I mean, anytime I can play sports, get a good workout, like I'm all over that. So
yeah.
Okay, so in life, we always kind of pick a path. We walk this path of life based off of our goals, based off of what we want in life, who we are, where we want to go, et cetera, et cetera. And we're like, this is the path I'm going to take. And then life decides to get in the way, and it'll throw curveballs at us. Sometimes it'll turn us right around and head us backwards, or it'll throw a mountain in front of us, obstacles that we need to overcome. And so it throws hardships and challenges at us, and sometimes more than others. But I've always been fascinated with human beings and their resilience to be able to overcome hardships and life challenges, trying to find the silver linings in it, because we have to move forward. We don't have a choice other than to do that. And so I wanted to ask you if you've ever experienced a hardship or a life challenge that you overcame? Maybe it made you better, maybe it made you stronger, maybe you took a silver lining from it.
Yeah, definitely. When my dad was set to retire, actually, we thought we were going to absorb some of his contracts. So getting on contracts with insurance companies is like a huge goal for any restoration contractor. So that absorption of that contract didn't pan out the way we thought it was going to. So while it was a big blow, because we've been working with this company for a while, it kind of forced us to explore alternative options and look into different ways to kind of get out there and to explore different contracts that we maybe didn't have before. We became certified, like a certified WEB, so Women Business Enterprise, which is a whole community of women-owned businesses, and they are pretty extravagant. They're a not-for-profit, and they post a lot of resources in what they call their like toolbox. So you're able to kind of learn and educate yourself on things. Like I remember watching this one toolbox thing, and it was saying, explaining the difference between incorporation versus sole proprietorship and blah blah blah. And we incorporated, but I didn't know why we incorporated. And then it was like, oh, now this makes so much more sense. And they have a conference at the end of the year in Toronto, and like you can network with a whole bunch of people. And it kind of, like I said, it was a big blow, but I'm definitely looking at the silver lining for it, and I think we are definitely better off for it. I think you do need change in life in order to kind of keep you fresh, and this industry is ever changing, and very also stuck in their ways. So we've been really good. We're doing a lot of private jobs too now. We're not just solely focusing on insurance. So we were able to really branch out and kind of reach into new avenues that originally I didn't think were possibilities. So yeah, that was one of the silver linings of more recent years.
Yeah, I love the silver lining. It's crazy how, when something happens, you can somehow turn that into a positive, right? And I always say growth comes from being uncomfortable. That would certainly make you uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And you look back on it now and from where you are, and definitely those silver linings are a lot easier to try to pull forward or pull ahead from. Yeah. Happy that, thank you for sharing. Happy that you guys ended up figuring that one out. So very cool. So now branching off into private jobs. So what would that, if somebody didn't know, what does that mean, a private job?
Oh yeah, sorry. I guess that's a great question. So for us, basically anything that's not insurance is private. So clients who are doing renovations, we've done a few in the past year. We're working on a really, really beautiful one in Horseshoe Valley, and I am just so excited for the end result of it. But people who do like upgrades too, like if insurance like quoted you had carpet, insurance will pay to put carpet back, but say you want to go to like laminate or tile or vinyl, that would be like an additional what we consider private, not part of our regular day-to-day business. But private jobs are fun in the sense where we kind of have a little bit more, we can explore a little bit more design-wise. It's not as regimented, because like I said, insurance will put back what you had. They're not looking at you, they're looking to put you back. They're not looking for you to make, your dream home out of something that wasn't before, kind of thing. We're really good with trying to help clients get their vision without, trying to do the upgrades, but we're loving the private jobs right now. And it's really just been based on referrals and people knowing who we are, and trades or friends and family of friends have reached out to us and said, hey, we're looking to do this. Is this something that you'll do? And we're like, of course, like that's the second half of what we do on a regular day basis anyways. So yeah.
We live by one of many philosophies, but one of them, especially for me, would be it's not what you know, it's who you know. It very rings true. And we've got a pretty good business community here in the city of Barrie and surrounding the Barrie area. So not surprised, especially if you have a good reputation, good word of mouth is always welcomed. Mm-hmm. So what's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
That you can choose who you use. Say you have a fire or a flood, you can actually choose your restoration contractor. I definitely recommend choosing a restoration contractor, not just a general contractor. But it's if you know someone and the restoration company isn't on the preferred list of your insurance company, you're still able to go with them. They try to push you away from that, but the whole reason preferred vendors exist is to make the convenience for the client. But you definitely don't have to use who they recommend, especially if you've heard bad things, or if you've heard good things, you're more than welcome to use who they have. But if you know someone, you're always welcome to call them first. Like I said, the insurance companies sometimes do try to push you to use their preferreds because they might have a pricing agreement, or they might know how they like things done. But at the end of the day, restoration contractors know how to dry things and put you back. And that should be the main priority with anything, especially considering your home is typically your biggest investment and asset in your whole life. So you definitely want to take care of it the right way. So,
yeah, certainly never a bad idea to get multiple professional second opinions off of the main one, and then kind of make that decision for yourself. Give yourself options. And so that was a great conversation. Really happy to have you on the show. I'm sure there are probably some listeners who are interested in potentially wanting to learn a little bit more about you guys and what you offer. And for those who are, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and reach you?
Phone. So our phone number is 705-241-4667. We also are trying to educate people a lot on the industry. So our Instagram page posts little tips and tricks kind of things. So that's Instagram. It's Halcyon_Property Specialists. And then, we just if you have any questions, we're here to help. It doesn't need to be a scary process. It is often for people, but it doesn't need to be. And that's kind of why we try to help people the way we do. So.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to learn about you and about your business, and hopefully maybe we get an opportunity to do this down the line.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
No worries. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.